Hello, everybody. Welcome in. This is Minnie, and today we're doing another part of Minnie's Great Games. And in this one, we're spreading the love of the Church of the Shikishima. New Tier 10 Premium that I just got recently. For those of you that aren't aware, as I said, Shikishima is the Japanese Tier 10 Premium battleship, 510mm guns, biggest in the game. And she is a blast to play, so we're going to enjoy showing her off here in this replay and talking about how I played her and why I played her the way I did. So let's get into this. First thing to know as we look into the ships, we are top tier. There is a CV on each side. Slava, good Russian dispersion. Lion, Heatson, Alabama, Moggy. Then I got to watch out for that Marceau. He'll try to burn me. Shima with all the torps. And the double Lafants don't scare me too much, but they are something to watch out for. We're also divved with a Daring and a Holland, which will very much help us. So when I first look at this map and I'm starting the game, my intention is going to be to look and to rotate across the map because the Shikishima with the 26.6 kilometer range, I want to stay at spots where I can shoot anywhere on the map and work on anything. So to start, we are going to slide ourselves towards the center of the map. My two DDs are going to work on D, but we're going to turn and we're going to keep our guns. And now, we also love having a carrier in this game because of the spotting. That'll give me an advantage. So we'll speed up here and drift towards the center. Now, the disadvantage I will say to the Shikishima is the fact that it has a terrible turret traverse ratio. Absolutely terrible, which makes it very difficult if you are turned the wrong way. You are going to be so hard pressed to get your guns around. You need to be perfectly positioned or your guns aren't going to hit it. Especially if you get close to DDs, there's no way your turret traverse is catching up to DDs. So right now we're just looking, we're peeking, we're seeing what shows up. We're looking to see if we have any angles. We see the lion, a nice target, but you can see how slow even with me barely moving my turret traverses. And we'll pop the shots off there, follow them down. Any early damage is always good. And one ricochet. Now, at this point, what I'm thinking is I'm always, as always, I'm diagnosing the map. And we'll make it a little bigger so you can see. Okay, we know the dived Lafants are there at C. The Marceau has been spotted near D. We're missing a Shima, but we're going to assume the Shima's over here because he's not. We've seen the dived Sen Louise as well, and we've also seen the Moggy, the Lion, the Slava. So I'm expecting that there's a Hitson and an Alabama over here towards B, along with the missing Shimakaze. So we got a pretty good idea on where stuff is. So we're going to continue maneuver towards the middle, look at the stuff. We want that Fant off the field early, but we're going to look towards that Sen Louis because he is a juicy target if we can get it, especially with that damage he just took. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get the shot because he is faster than me, but there is a juicy Lafant sitting there. And this is why I love firing AP, because even though we missed there, AP, 1, it forces him, 2, with 19,400 max damage. If I hit him, he's taking 1,940 damage on an AP overpen. Right now, we're still continuing to keep an eye out. We're looking for ships. We find Bonham Your Mom, which is a phenomenal username, at 20 kilometers. And as you can see, we're just going to be spraying shells as much as possible. 26-second reload makes it a very tempting ship to shoot on. Still not good damage early on. My early shots in this game definitely were off, but that's okay. It takes some time occasionally to dial in. Losing our Lafant early, though, does put us in a problem now, because our Lafant is charged through C. He's dead on the other side of C, which doesn't help me. I know they've got 2 Lafants and a Marceau somewhere, so I have to be careful. I need to be prepping to turn out because they could come through and try to torp. Lafants aren't going to have the torp range at 8 kilometers. And the Shima's got the 12 kilometers, but if they push, it becomes a danger, so we need to be ready to turn. And we're still wanting, I wanted that Sen Louis so hard here, and this is where target focus is an issue. That Sen Louis was not going to be giving me the angle, so I should have been focusing and taking shots far more often at this Amagi. Because see, I'm still looking at that Sen Louis and wanting the Sen Louis, and still realizing I don't have the angle yet. And this is a time I could have easily taken a shot at that Amagi or anything else and had damage, but I didn't. But the Amagi has now presented me with a nice ability to take the shot. Watch those shots fly down. And unfortunately, it's not the Dev Strike. 32,000 damage, though, off of the one Citadel. You can see why I love this ship. If he doesn't turn out slightly, I do believe that would have been a Dev Strike. I was quite sad about that. And then he pays me back in kind with 14,000. Now, that shot was a mistake. There's really no reason I should have shot the Lion that is not doing anything rather than the low health Amagi. I really don't know why I didn't shoot the Amagi. But I'm also knowing that I'm going to have to turn pretty soon here because I'm getting very far forward with an unspotted Shima still. 8,300 off there, and we're now down 2 ships, which is putting us in a challenge spot. So we're starting to make the turn in, taking advantage of our ability to turn nicely. And then we're slowing down a bit to make sure we can make this turn. And you can see this turret traverse. You can see the turret traverse is very slow. Still wanting that Saint Louis that I should really be ignoring, but there's the Slava giving me a juicy looking angle, but I can't shoot him because I got an island right in front of me. Fortunately, just get the shots off in time. Literally by the skin of my teeth, I take those shots. I should have taken those shots earlier. And 2 overpens. Now we're going to turn it out. So at this point, what I'm looking at, okay, I'm less scared about DDs. Shima's still not spotted, but the Shima could, we're expecting the Shima somewhere over here. We see the 2 fans, the Marceau. My team's working down the fans pretty well. They're all kind of clustered here. We have got the cap advantage, even though we're down on ships, and the health is still good. So we're still in a good spot, but we need more damage. And we say, hello, Mr. Semi-Broadside Amagi. If my guns turn, and there we see the Shima, and we're like, shit. That's not good. Because the Akazuki's spotting everything, and that makes it very hard. And there we're thankful we stopped, because if we didn't stop, pretty sure we would have died right there to all those torps. And we just watched the Akazuki casually die to the Shima, and we're thinking, well, crap, I'm in a bad spot. And then, unfortunately, so does our daring. So we're now down 3 ships, which really is putting this game in a position of, can we pull it back? I start to speed back up because I need to get away from the Shima. Sure, he's used his, sure, he has used his torps, but they'll be up soonish. We want to make sure that this Amagi dies. He's almost dead. It's very annoying, honestly, that he didn't die there. And now we're down 4 ships. And at this point, honestly, I was thinking, well, the game's over. Because as you look at it, okay, Shima here. Drake's not spotting him yet. We got a bunch of ships here. The Fant's taking D from us. We've killed only one of theirs. They're up by 70,000 health. And I'm like, well, I got to start somewhere. Now, there's a reason for that split shot. The reason for that split shot is I was figuring, with the timing I have, I've got those first 4 shells on the Amagi. That should be dead Amagi. Second 2 shells, if I can chunk anything off the Shimakaze, he's at, you know, 11, 13,000 odd health. That'll really hurt him. So we'll watch these in. And, unfortunately, I do hit the Amagi, but I'm 610 damage short. But I do also hit the Shima. So, good to get damage on the Shima, but unfortunately, I should have taken the double shot on the Amagi, because the Amagi, if I took the last 2 shots on him, would have died. Use the heal now that it's a full value heal, and we're going to look at the Heezen, because we're figuring somebody's finishing off that Amagi. This is actually, once again, the wrong play to make. I should have finished the Amagi, but because the Kaga was there, it doesn't end up hurting me. And a nice little 12,000 off of the Heezen, and then a non-pen. So we're up to 83,000, but we're still down by 3 ships and 60k at this point. And I was very tempted to take shots on the Implacable there, but we'll take the shots. We see he's slowing down, which is why I adjust the second set to try to make sure I hit him. Now, at this point, I'm screaming at Iron Man, honestly, get the Lafant out, because we need him out. We're down 3 ships, we're down 70,000, but this game is still winnable if we can pull the Lafants that are there out of the game and turn it on this corner. So we'll keep an eye, we'll see him there. I'm going to turn my guns as quick as I can to get them over there to that Lafant. And we're going to go. And we see both of them are still there. I still want that Saint Louis, but unfortunately he's not quite giving me the angle. But there is a juicy looking Slava. And I just love the sound of Shikishima guns, honestly. There's no more satisfying sound in my mind. Once again, not a great shot, which really makes me wonder how much damage I would have gotten if I'd shot better. There's the Marceau coming to charge the North Carolina. And I'm like, thank goodness I am loaded, because between the North Carolina and me, that's a dead Marceau. And that's big because the Marceau only gets off 5 torps and our North Carolina survives, which is clutch. Now we're going to turn and we got to get these DDs. So at this point in the game, where my thinking is, we got these 2 DDs. These have to die. We have to get them off the field. We're only down 2 ships now. Still massive health lead, but these 2 DDs are preventing us from pushing through. If we get them off the field, we can push and challenge. So I'm loading, and I'm getting my guns set up. And I unleash a full salvo out of Fant. And boom, there we go. Finally on the board with a kill. One of the DDs gone, the other Fant's out there. Our North Carolina is going down here. Nothing we can do about it. So we're still down by 2 ships. Though we still have a Holland working down there, and we're in a semi-okay position. We see the Slavas backing up from running lights, so we push away. We also see the Fant is down to 4,000, so we're not too worried about him yet. And there's a nice chunk off the Slava. And at this point, this play, it ends up working out, but honestly, this was a very ballsy play to push through D. Now, I know that the Shim is at C. I know the Fant's there at D, and he can't torp me yet. But I'm pushing into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships. And I've got 82,000 health and 3 heals, but I am pushing into 5 ships. It's definitely one of my, shall we say, more interesting positions. Fortunately, I'm helped by having in Holland there for A, support on an Implacable. And we keep our guns looking, and then we see, ooh, broadside Heezen. And so we start to charge. And unfortunately, he turns out, so we only get 3,300. We are slowing down here because that Fant's undetected, and I know he's shooting me from over there. So I'm slowing down to try to make it so he doesn't have a torp angle on me. And I'm trying to peek and keep an eye out for if he shows up. Now, choice of target here. Why the Slava over the Heezen? One Slava has less health than the Heezen. Line's not in a great position. I can't see the Saint Louis. And the Slava as a tier 10 is always more threatening to me. And now we're going to peek. Okay, so what we could see there, I don't know if you could see it, but what we could see there is the Fant is firing from right here is what I saw there in that very quick peek. Is I saw the Fant was firing from right here, which means he's not in a position to torp, so I can afford to push through the cap, because I have our Holland going, and this is why team play is important. I have our Holland going over there so that if that Fant tries to come out, I have defense. Now, we switch over here to the Lion because the Lion is so low health and we want him off the field. I probably should have kept going on the Slava if we're being honest. Because we only get 1 overpen on the Lion, and the Slava was at 10k, and frankly, he would have been dead earlier if we'd shot him already. So we watch the Georgia shells. We see the Fants popped up again, and we send the shells out at him. And we don't finish him, which is the annoying, the 1 overpen. So we turn to angle. Now, we turn this way because in case the Fant tried anything, we're turned out, but also this puts me at a better angle. Heezen doesn't have a great angle on me now, and I'm bowing to the Alabama and the Lion, which is much better. We also know that the Saint Louis here and the Shimakaze has died in the meantime, so we're only worried about the Fant. So we're deliberately angling ourselves to make sure we're safe as possible. We're also starting to speed back up to push in, to be aggressive, try to get our secondaries into position. And we're watching to see what ships I can shoot and chunk. 120k damage right now, not bad. Another 8300 on not the cleanest of shots. So we're watching that Saint Louis to see if he's going to back up. Because we can see with the minimap he's doing a bit of a backup, and we're watching to see if he's going to show up or if he's going to die. So I'm trying to keep an eye out to see if I can finish him off or not. But look, we're still in a good angle. Now, I will say, if you... a second before, that Heezen's giving me such a broadside, I really should have considered. But the Alabama is the bigger threat at the close range. So we'll aim right at the upper belt. 4 hits, 12k damage. And then goes the Saint Louis, and there goes the Fant, which puts me in a perfect position to challenge. So now we're going to start to turn it in. We're going to repair the fire there because we need the health. And we're going to turn, and we're going to say, hello, Mr. Alabama. I'm really salty that wasn't a Citadel, but another 11k. And now we're bow in. We've got an island protecting us from the Heezen, and so we can focus on this Bama in front of us. Hammer the heel to try to keep ourselves protected from the Bama and keep our guns tilted. I should have locked them there, but here we go. Shots in. And still not dead. 2 pens, which really made me salty, if I'm being honest. The other advantage to being right here by the island is the Implacable didn't have torp lines on me. As you can see, I eat it in time. So we turn it, we kill him, and then we turn our second 2 guns, and we punch onto the lion. And then we slam the brake to try to lock in on it. And then we get the double strike and the high cal there, which was clutch. That was a very satisfying point to be able to pull those out. So you get the double strike plus the high caliber, 194. So at this point, I got a Kaga trying to kill me. I got 21,000 health. I got 1 heal in a minute. Heezen is the priority, and they have an Implacable, but this game has been turned at this point because of the charge. Also the 2.5 million damage. I'm going to sneak myself around the edge. Appreciate GGWP's comments. And then get very annoyed that I get set by a fire. And we're going to turn and we're going to look for the Heezen and try to chunk him out. Unfortunately, we get a ricochet and 1 pen. We dodge the torp by the skin of our teeth. And now we are trying to get our full guns on. I also am trying to turn back in so he doesn't have a broadside on me. We use the heal immediately because look at our health, 6,000 health. So I'm very nervous about our chance to live here, especially with only 10k there and an Implacable coming in for the drop, especially considering I've just used a heal. And we turn, and we are so lucky the fire. Now, let's just laugh at the fact, let's talk about this health. 14 seconds till I can heal. We're on 18 HP in a dream, boys. And we're like, secondaries, don't you do it, secondaries, don't you do it. 6 seconds. And that's where I literally could have kissed my Kaga for the fact that he killed the Heezen before he could finish me. We get the heal, boys, we heal up, and then it's just looking at the Implacable. And we turn. We get the Citadel, the Confed, and now we want more damage. We want more damage. We're at 247 and we want more. But sadly, the game will end there with the Georgia finishing off the Implacable with a Dev Strike. But as you can see, 248,000 damage basically, 3 million tanked, a double strike, a high caliber Confederate. I honestly feel like I left about 50 to 60,000 damage on the table with shot selection, but this is one of my favorite ships because of what it can do. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's our great game. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button below the video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to see more of my great content. This is Minnie, signing off.